All right, well, welcome everyone. Nice to see everybody. Topic today is non-duality. You have any questions about it? I mean, there must be lots of takes. I can only speak from how it was digested and regurgitated here. Yeah, so it was stunning in a sense when I heard this because I did that old German Shepherd thing with the head. Yeah, and it hasn't ever changed. Uh, but when the interest and attention was in the mental logic, it was very confusing. When the interest and attention left the mental logic, then it saw the insanity of the mental logic. So I feel non-duality opens a key, opens a door, let's say, of the head and allows the interest and attention to leave because it's never going to figure it out inside the system. Yeah, you need to have it let out. Yeah, just like in recovery, you can talk a lot of philosophy and stuff like that, but the best thing to do is put yourself in a position of service because it will draw your interest and attention out of that self-centered orbit and you'll feel anew, so to speak, not like a new ANU here, but anew ANEW. Yeah, yeah. And so you figure most of the time, any pondering about the system was in the system, which to me is a built-in failure, so to speak. Yes, as supposedly Einstein said, the system that produces the problem isn't going to be the solution. You're not going to find the solution in that which is producing the problem. In this sense, there isn't a problem. There just seems to be one. So here, everything is either appearing true or false to us, not based on what's appearing, but on us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So things aren't, it's based on the appearance to be true or false. It's based on us. Yeah. Something happens, something comes up, ideas, everything, and then they're filled with meaning coming from our direction. Yeah. And so to the point where this whole place is an event of seemingly so. So if you know the word seemingly, one of the definitions is it appears to be true or false to you. Yeah. Yeah. So something's going on. There's contact with it. And that contact, there's conscious contact, but consciousness isn't the end all, be all, yeah. Because consciousness can be a lot of unconsciousness. Yeah. Yes. And it's also defined in a sense. So for the contact to be noted, there had to be consciousness. So there's a conscious contact. Yeah. And that brings the game into play. Yeah. So all the parts start moving, and the Monopoly board is more like a lit up thing that's constantly moving. Yes. Yeah. And we're somewhat conscious, but we're conscious seemingly as a body, yeah, when we're not actually. The body is not conscious. The body, as prescribed in Ramana's teachings, is a non-existent thing. Yes. A non-existent thing, like a flute that allows notes to be played through it, but has never played any of the notes, obviously. Yes. Yeah. So the head reacting to conscious contact claims what's going on and uses it to set or launch its narrative, yeah, which is in a basic level a self-centered view. So everything is seen as how it pertains to us, and so that's where the true and false is given from. Yeah, this us that we're not. Yeah, so a lot of times, like the Course in Miracles would say a statement of, your greatest failures are your greatest successes, and your greatest successes are your greatest failures. Yeah, sort of does the German Shepherd thing, the mental logic. Yes, because the logic has an idea of success and failure, and that sounds like it throws that idea topsy-turvy. Yeah, so what? My failures are my greatest successes, exactly in this in this topic, it's true. You're not finding what you're looking for which would seem to be a failure of your part, and in a sort of deflating, depressing thing, is actually the success, because you finally get convinced you can't find what you already are. Yeah. And now most people don't get to that right away. There's a lot of trying to find and get disappointed because it doesn't seem to work. And then, like, that little idea has, ripened on the vine, and then it falls and you sort of get it. Hopefully it falls. The non-duality understanding will shake that tree and speed up the falling of the fruit. Yeah. And then bammo, you can get it. And because you've had all this information, it was being tagged from a self-centered view, and then it's suddenly tagged differently. Yeah. Yeah. And then you actually see, as best you can, I'm not talking about the eyes, but awareness, you see what you're not, which used to be what you were looking from all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the non-duality understanding galvanizes itself by recognition. We recognize what we read or what we heard. Yeah. And there's a deep recognition of it. And I mean, it's like the greatest form of teaching ever is negation, really.
Yes.
It's the greatest form, literally, because you start as you are already that which you're looking for. Fucking great. That's incredible. So what do you need? What gets lost interest in the looking for it? Yeah. Does the head keep looking for it in its own ways? Probably. And that's some of the misunderstandings, that the bowling ball of non-duality knocks down all the pins. Yeah. No pin stands up. And some of the pins, or your lich pins of understanding, get knocked over. Yeah. And you realize faith in the act of reasoning or thinking is really the act of obstruction, or obstacle. You have more faith in the intellect than you do in the sense of being. And therefore, that intellect has to fail you to get a renewed recognition of the value of just being. It seems like it. That's how it goes here. I mean, if we're in an event of time and space, that's time well spent failing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's time well spent. You fail, and there's a recognition of the failing, and that becomes a success with this understanding. Just like you can have two different days where one day you're dominated by the seeker and the seeking, and then you're like bitching about, I'm so fucking pissed, I'm never going to get it. It just seems like, but I'm going to keep on trucking. And then the next day, someone hears non-duality and says the same thing, but it's a hallelujah. I'm never going to get it. Hallelujah. So I can call off all the dogs and maybe have a 3-dog night, hang out and get warm and shit with it all, instead of having them on these goose chases trying to find what you already are. Now, I think that's what non-duality triggers. It has its little sayings, and those sayings, I think, are there to trigger something before time triggers something. Yeah. Right. So you trigger something, and then you see the triggering in time about the one thing, which is you, me. Yeah. So there's a trigger before the mental triggering. Yeah. And I don't see a solution if the trigger is after the mental triggering. I just don't see it can work. I don't, because something has already been established in the first process of the mental claiming. You are not feeling like you're becoming something. You're feeling like you are one already. So self has established its history all made up. And once we come to, when we become conscious, we're becoming conscious. That's not the first moment. Yeah, there's non-moments before that. The conscious contact, you become conscious as a body, so to speak. The body is there. as soon as you seem to be conscious, you become conscious of the body. Now, a baby has been conscious for, let's say, 12 or 14 months, 24 months, and the brain hasn't developed, and there's no name and form given to it. So it's just conscious contact, yeah, with no doer, no seer, no one. But when the brain develops, the conscious contact is to use is to reinforce this idea of you being a non-existent thing that is now an existent thing, and that's where you started. Yeah, you're an existent thing, and then death may have the other have you're going to find that it's a non-existent thing, but that comes after the show. But it's actually before the show. You're this is a non-existent thing. Yeah. At death, this is going to become a non-existent thing. It's not going to become, there's not going to be any mix-up because you're just going to be stuck with a non-existent thing. And what you got to burn it or bury it or something. It's just like Paul takes off, but you're stuck with Paul. Of the non-existent thing. Yeah. Put Paul in the closet. We'll figure out what to do with him by Monday. Just can we can use him for the commuting lane. We'll put him in the front seat. Get something out of him. Fucking ass. We all hope that the existent thing would go, but not the existence. But now it seems the existence left, and we're stuck with the non-existent thing. So I just like to repeat this because I think futility is the greatest message. Yeah. Because hope burns eternal, not eternal, finite eternal in the head. It does. It stubbornly will keep looking to get out of itself as itself. I've seen it with drug addiction, and I don't think I was an unusual. I was in an unusual category. It became obvious that this mental activity does not get. It can't get out of itself because it's constantly trying to get out of itself. Yeah. But it sees self as an objective thing to get out of. It doesn't see the self as Paul trying to get out of the objective self. It doesn't see that. And so it's actually thinking it's Paul getting out of self. And it's just Paul just hasn't gotten the right combo yet. Yes. Yeah. We used to do this with drugs. You mix one with the other and just try to get something that works. But so you're still, the pulling the thing and hoping you'll get the three lemons or something, but it just goes on and on and on. So I came to a conclusion. It wasn't like a phenomena that this mental apparatus could not get, that it can't get out of itself. But I now realize it's mechanical. It's built into the system. Yeah. And so seeing that really weans you off of working with it. It's like the bag is too heavy, you just leave it at the airport. You don't try to take some out or do this and or stuff it in there. You just fuck it, And then oh yeah. It's just such a lightness. It's unbelievable. It's difficult to keep attention to it because you don't have a comparison of heaviness as like you used to. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of heaviness, and then there was temporary lightness that used to get me arrested in there. This is a relief from that whole heavy light, heavy light, heavy light. Yeah. So I listened to the message. I don't know what it was. I never really got captured by the person that it was coming through. I didn't. I mean, I really liked some of them and it was nice, but I didn't get into sort of, their feet didn't seem attractive to me to kiss after a while. I just, I thought it was just like, someone passing on a very nice bit of news to me. Yeah. I'm very grateful, but I don't want to make a gold statue out of them. for her. Because it's easy, because we're in a mistaken event all day. So it's very easy to think the message is the messenger. Yeah, because we're thinking we're a lot of what we're not all day. Yeah. So it's very easy to stamp that on somebody. Yeah. And I think if you don't put your foot down, the horses can get out of the barn, and you may find yourself in an elevated podium and fucking people, sewing your own custom clothes and shit, fucking with all these subtle hooks. No, this is like a mailman. Yeah, you can invite me in, but don't. I'm not supposed to move it. Just putting the mail in the slot. I have great faith. Yeah, I have great faith in the message. I don't believe it has to have tons of stuff around it. I humbly really believe that you are it already. Yeah. And that just a little bit of prodding or nodding or sticking somewhere or whatever will just trigger that which is before time. Yeah. And if there's a triggering before the mental triggering, you'll see the mental triggering, and you'll see that it's the manufactured quality of it. Yes? Yeah. You will see the emperor with no clothes. And therefore, every time you meet the emperor, you'll see it with no clothes, no matter if it's wearing a lot of clothes or not. Yes? It's not like running and trying to get that peak experience of seeing the emperor with no clothes. It's meant to lead to a recognition that the emperor, though wearing clothes, has no clothes. Yeah, I humbly believe that's the point. I don't want to see a small little guy behind a curtain naked 50, 80 times. Yes, it's like I see it once, it's indelible. Like yeah, and then just whatever. Yeah. If it I feel here, like people have been very nice to me for a long time. And suddenly some people sent me a lot of books, about Nisargadatta and stuff, the teachings. And you know, I gave it a shot. I want to look at it. I don't want to read. Yeah. I figure we got a small little independent bakery. We've been putting out the same cod muffins. Let's just keep putting out the cod muffins. Yeah. I feel that's the seed assignment. I do. And I have, because I sensed it when it started to happen, when I was being used fundamentally for this sharing. And of course, I reacted to it with a great misunderstanding. I I actually thought I had a lot to do with it, and that I should get up my game to match how wonderful this act was that was moving through me. I better clean myself up more, do a lot more meditating, and something told me no. You don't. You have. You're in a sense irrelevant in this situation. Yeah, because you're the after, and that which is coming through is the before. Nothing that you can do as the after can change that which is before. Yeah. So basically, just go to thrift stores and read Yankee blogs, basically. Yeah, and wait for opening day, Yankee Stadium. So I've been following that religiously now for 28 years or so. Yeah. And I haven't gotten a new message about it. Yeah, like I go past a karate school and I start thinking maybe we should have belts, non-duality belts, black belt, brown belt, No, no, nothing. And some people, they keep getting in touch with me and saying, "Hey, I try to get on the newsletter." I try to tell them, we don't have a newsletter really. There's nothing new in non-duality. There's no news that we can send you. Yeah. Let's go to the event page and everything we're doing will be there. So yeah, I think I did. And then of course they think they did something wrong, but there seems to be a dead end when you try to enter the news Newsletter. I've never gotten a newsletter for all these years. So yeah. So if you have any, if you want to share, have any questions around anything, it's not an infinite Leela, it's or play. It's not infinite. It's like it's a pre-choreographed dance, and it only has so many steps. It's not, it doesn't improvise well. It just does the same thing over and over again. And you can see it like a machine, yeah? You can see it, but when you're right, when you're depending on the consciousness is aligned as with the body, yes? Yeah. Uh, that field of awareness is like a different beast, so to speak. Yeah. And uh, that's the complete impartiality. Yes. Yeah. And in awareness, there's not one clock has been struck, nor bell has been rung. It's just here completely. And it is the before of any befores. And so you are of that, and you are seeing from there. The awareness is seeing, yeah, and the awareness can see the manufacturing of the seer, yeah. And we were talking to Artur the other day, and he was sharing I feel a misunderstanding that the seer is first, and then there's the seeing, and there's hearing, there's the hearer, and then hearing, there's feeler and feeling. And I said, no, I don't agree with that. I believe there's hearing, feeling, there's the conscious contact, yes? And then there's the claiming of the conscious contact by the mental state. And now it's you as a non-existent thing being the existing seer, feeler, taster, toucher, thinker, doer. Yeah. Now, if that's the case, uh, the seeing will be quite liberating, but the seer is actually a form of bondage. Yes. So the seer using the seeing to find what's seeing is the bondage. Yes. So by recognizing with the seeing that there is no seer, that's the liberation from the need to be liberated. Yeah. Yeah. So seeing, seer, hearing, it's just hearing and seeing really. But the head puts its up, comes up and then changes something and says seer. Yeah. And then, wow. And like the Course says, if something that we think is us has made this idea to be ourselves, why would we doubt it? Yeah. Well, now we know why, because it's failed. Yeah. And it's not because it failed because of you, it fails as a you. Yeah. So there's no needing to go back. You never went ahead. It's just the head is casting this imaginative idea in time. Yes? But right where you're sitting is the relief of it. Yeah. Yeah, I feel it's as simple as listening to a non-duality understanding. I do. And maybe with the support of satsang, you can't lose with that combination. Yeah. You have a non-duality invitation that brings about an understanding outside the mental logic, not the mental logic adapting to a new understanding. No, outside the mental logic. And then that which was looking at everything is now looked at. You look at the looker, yeah? And you see what? Find out. And I know when you hit the money, it's going to be a loss of interest and attention. Yeah. It's not like you learn a karate move to keep it on the mat longer or a knockout punch. No, you lose interest in the whole situation. Yes. And I think once you see that, that's the sign of the birds are migrating. So, and then all you do is like you're already in the tiger's mouth, as they say, Ramana says, yes, the digestion system's kicked in. Don't worry. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And I vouch for that. I have no idea. Well, I do have an idea. Yeah. The established starting point got questioned and it collapsed under the light of awareness, just collapsed. And then it rebuilt itself, but then I knew better. Yeah. Because I wasn't trying to know from it. I started knowing it and I lost interest in it. Not because I vowed to. There was a loss of interest. I didn't lose interest. There was a loss of interest and a loss of attention to it. And therefore, that attention and interest, by going other places and seemed to find its own direction, was enriching my day instead of the other thing, which was enslaving my day. And you are enslaved in the pursuit of enlightenment. That's being enslaved. Yes. Yes. You're enslaved every moment, hoping for the day that you won't be enslaved. Yeah. But really, to me, the liberation is from the need to be liberated. You realize all that you thought you were, you're not. Yeah. It doesn't go to you don't gain interest in another Paul or new Paul or an upgraded Paul or a better Paul. You don't. You bypass Paul. Yeah. You leapfrog from the invitation over Paul into the I am in a sense, and then see where that takes you. Yeah. Yeah. But it will provide. I feel non-duality understanding is the clearest one I've ever heard. And it's the most efficient. It just keeps whittling things down more and more, like boiling. Like you figure you're just gonna have pot soon. It seems like the boils what's in it so far down, but and it actually is. What you want to drink is the emptiness in that pot. So it gets all boiled down, and there you go. Yeah. So anyone have anything share?
Yes, David down under.
David Down Under. Sounds like a song.
G'day, Paul, Kathleen, and everybody. Um, uh, just what you said then, Paul. There's two things like we always say: seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. That's what there is. And then one of the other ones, you say a lot of stuff that I like, but one of the other ones you say is, "You and I give everything all the meaning it has."
Well, that's from the course, that one. Yeah.
Oh, righto, right.
Yeah.
Any,
Lesson.
anyway, I was sitting recently. I was sitting there pondering like the weird thinking man statue the other day,
What?
and I
What was it?
I was just sitting there pondering the other day that about the seeing, hearing, feeling,
Yeah.
tasting,
Yeah.
touching thing, and I think it's because I watched this quick doco on telly the other day about your eye is just a reflection somehow of something coming in, and then your brain makes up sort of what it is,
Yeah.
and that led me to sort of go to myself, yeah, everything comes in, like hearing comes in, like to this, and seeing comes into this, and right. So I sort of lived under the um, illusion for years that I'm hearing everything and I'm seeing everything, but it's like this great big sort of reversal. So that sort of penny dropped for me. And then how you always say this seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, that made that totally make sense to me. In that way. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm probably sound real confused, but I'm not. Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah.
No. I get it, bro. Yeah.
But the other one you've said too, just quickly on that, I think sometimes I've heard you say there's seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, and then in some beliefs or religions or something, they say there's another one, there's thinking.
Well,
Um,
noticing that the mental activity, yeah, that would be from the Buddhist point of view. So they
did you
believe
say
that's another sense gate, much
did you
more.
say noticing the mental activity then, did you?
Yes, noticing.
Ah, right. I don't have to continue
But
on
see,
then. Yeah.
you are uh, what you and I represent right now is the claiming of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where
Yeah.
the mental process is very quick claiming the conscious contact formulates this idea that we are an existent thing. And that's where we become conscious as, yes, as
Yeah.
as a thing. We don't, very rarely do we have a moment where we're conscious as not a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forgotten by the head very quickly. Because remember, like you said, the brain, that which is interpreting all this reflections, is interpreting it to the body. Yeah. So the brain
Yeah.
isn't worthy of trust because it has a, a, a pre programmed idea that everything that's going on, it interprets it to the body. So this is sort
Yeah.
of the self-centered view where everything that's noticed is funneled into pertaining only to you. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we don't
Yeah. And
start before that. We start here after that. We start after the claiming of the conscious contact. That's the neighborhood that Paul lives in. Yes, yes,
yeah, and it's beautiful for me lately is seeing that without even trying to see it.
yes, of course.
It,
That's the only
it
way you can see it is when
yeah,
trying to see it. Yes.
yeah.
Because
I
if
sort of
it
thought
would
for
be
a
you
couple of
trying
years.
to see it. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
I
trying
saw.
is of the you, and then the you is the one trying. So they go, that's the non-duality there. It's the not two. So it's the seeking and the seeker. Yeah. The sort is just it really doesn't give a shit about the sort. Yeah, it seeks tons of different things. And at a drop of a pin, it can change and go somewhere else. Yeah. But the engine of all that is to reinforce the seeking and the seeker. Yeah. Seeking, seeker, seeker, seeking. And then you come up with a different sort. Yeah. But the same dynamic is in place, playing out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think for me coming here the last couple of years with you guys, for whatever reason, and it was just the little I don't like to say it, but the little path I was on was things started to click for me uh, without sort of realizing. But then I spent a lot of time trying to see it. So that was just the
And then
same
that
thing.
clicks. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is how
yeah,
it works. The head will react to this like it reacts to everything else. It will try to get it. But in this little thing, the thing it's trying to get has a bite and bites the seeker in the ass. That's what happens. It's not playing this game. So it puts you in a very uncomfortable position when you're trying to move towards it and it's not budging because seeking, you like the thing that you're seeking to be ahead of you with the hopes of never finding. This thing doesn't move, so you're caught with your pants down. It's great.
yeah,
Then it shows the fraudulence of seeking. That's the point. Because you're confronted with what you would be hoping to find, and you realize you don't want to have anything to do with it. All right, there you go. You, as the emperor, has been seen with no clothes. The fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, this is the beauty of it. the head doesn't hear it as you hear it. Yeah. So the head keeps doing what it does mechanically, and then suddenly that motor of it that you would just hear as just like a plain hum, you hear the gears grinding and shit like that. You see the machinery isn't up to par, so to speak. Yeah, and you start getting big clues about the failedness of it. Yeah. And man, it has the greatest way of avoiding that is most people blame themselves. Yeah, for a failed system. It's part of the system. So you think, so you just change practices or change, oh, I thought the 11th dimension was going to be great. No, I got to go to the 12th dimension, on and on. And it just feeds this thing. Yes. Yeah. Non-duality just pauses you, P-A-U-S-E. It pause. I hope it does. That's how it worked with me. It paused this constant activity of getting and seeing, or avoiding and all like that. Because then, see, the nature of the head is agitation. It talks about, oh, I'd love to become peaceful, but it can't. It's agitated. Its nature is agitated. So I remember you'd be sitting for 6 or 7 hours in meditation. As long as there was thoughts, you'd be sitting there stoically. As soon as you got into the space, it was like, did I leave the oven on? It was just, I mean, the real alarms went off. Doing meditation like an act, you can be a marathon runner and you never win the race. But you see stuff, and I mean, you're the most intimate teacher and the taught. You right here. There's so much knowledge that has been filed falsely, so to speak. Yeah. That the non-duality will go over those files and bring out. Yeah. I feel maybe something else did it for you, but in the case, that's why I speak in recovery, because recovery saved my ass in this life as an action figure. And this is why we speak about this way, because this is how it has played itself out. Yeah. People gave me some ideas. The space really gave me a lot, just sitting in satsang. And I don't know about you, but understanding works in me. Yeah, if I can, and especially understanding the system itself has really worked. When someone would tell me it was failed, I actually got it, because I'd had tons of experiences of it failing, but I had misconstrued. It had more to do with me failing than it. And then I started just looking in the right direction, and things were really obvious. And things, it wasn't like it was like the skin was ready to come off. I was just using spirituality like a moisturizer. Yeah. It just fell off a lot of the shit over the years. Yeah. Yeah. And I believe we have a being convinced already. You can be convinced of that here in this dreaming, but the being convinced is there. You're not cloudy about what you are as what you are. I mean, so if you are reality, as Ramana said, and if you can have faith in someone like Ramana and listen to those words, and when he says being ourselves reality, yeah, then you start noticing all this stuff that's acting as if it's not reality, or it's trying to find reality. It's obvious it's not you. Yeah. Why? Because being ourselves reality wouldn't be looking for reality. So everything that's looking for reality can't be reality. Yes, it's a simple, if you need a measuring thing, that's a good measuring thing. listen to the stuff that you used to believe was you getting marshaled to gird your loins and go to the next fucking event. You start realizing this thing has no fucking idea. Yeah. It's using what I am to look for what I am as something else. Yeah. So, and just what are you gonna punish a machine? Do you punish a machine? Yeah. You learn the machine about the machine, you know it's a toaster now. So then when it doesn't make a smoothie, you don't fucking flip out about it. You know, it was your mistake. It's a fucking it's a blender. Yeah. So this is what happens. Blue, you see, blue is blue and red is red. Things have become obvious. Yeah. 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 All right. Hey, Dave, it's been wonderful to hang for you here the last few years. I would say
Yeah.
you're hopping much higher, grasshopper.
Likewise, Paul. I really enjoyed the last few years. Yeah, it's
Uh,
been a saving grace for me sometimes. Yeah,
oh, great, great. See, these are the byproducts. Yeah. Somebody may
yeah,
like how the bird sings, but the bird has to sing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll never expect my toaster to make a smoothie again. I've been frustrated over that.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I know if I talk it to it enough, it will make it. No, it's not. It's defined. The toaster is defined by its programming. It's gonna make toast. Yeah. The brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. How difficult is that to translate? Yeah. If you like the Course in Miracles, it's one of the biggest statements in there. The brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. So if the brain is the first thing in time to meet the experience, it's going to translate that experience to fit the idea of a body, being a body, of course. Why do you hear spirituality called a spiritual path? Do you think spirit takes a path? Bodies would take a path. People with legs would take a path, and they could mistake and go to another path. Yeah, the spirit, which so spirituality is defined in a term of a language that takes whatever's going on and interprets it to the body. Yeah, we're an object that's used is hearing a subjective language. Yes. Yeah. I this, I that, do da da da, on and on and on and on. I remember simply, it was funny, but I remember went back to New York to give some talks, and I hadn't been there for a while, and someone who knew me came in and said, "Hey, Paul, you're growing your hair," because my hair had gotten a lot longer. And I said, "Jimmy, yeah, I've been growing my hair. Looks pretty good, eh?" And he was balding. I said, "Jimmy, bro, you're not doing well. You know, we have a meeting on Saturdays. We get together and we grow our hair together." And I got I got my own chain of shampoos and moisturizers. I'll give the first one complimentary. You have to pay after. And then you can go off on, "Oh, I'm so proud of my hair." I'm not doing shit. I just don't cut the hair. Yeah, it grows on its own. But this whole language is constantly implying we have a lot to do with a lot of shit we have nothing to do about. Yes. Yeah. And you're listening to this all day, or there is a listening to it all day. Yeah. It's just like now, Dave, my sinuses are pretty fucked. Yes. Now, that wasn't just the starting point. My sinuses were like two virgins, and then they had sex with cocaine for like 20 years, and my sinuses are destroyed in some respects. Now, I'm not walking around, why are my sinuses? I know very well why my sinuses suck, because they were abused. You know, it's sort of like, so I don't start the story with my sinuses. It's like, I don't know why. They just, no, I have history of like the Holland Tunnel, getting traffic all day. Yeah, so You'll see things, yeah, and it will bring you to a point that point will end. Yes, things can come to an end here. Yeah, old ideas, misunderstandings, they can actually come to an end. Yeah, they can. There are some things that have happened to me hearing satsang or stuff in recovery, and how I heard it that one time hasn't changed in 30 years, 36 years. There was one time I was in Texas, I was speaking down there, and in AA we have this thing called the traditions, which is how, as a collective, we go about living in this world. Yeah, the traditions. And one of the traditions, this old guy was given, now I'm an old guy, but this, at that time, I was younger, and this old guy was given a talk, and I had read these 12 traditions and had a vague understanding, but he said it a beautiful way. This, I think it's tradition number 5 or number 2, which is, there's a loving God expressing itself through our group conscience. And I got it exactly how I feel it right now. I got it. Yeah. It wasn't how I was feeling before I heard it.
Right.
This person it came through him, and I got a new understanding. And that understanding hasn't changed in 35 years. Yeah. This happens. And non-duality is like, you may think it's a henna tattoo, but it's going to be an ink tattoo. I'm not that. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It has that potency. I have certain things it brought me to, they ended since then. I have never looked for what I am ever since. Never lift a spiritual bone up. I mean, I saw the futility of it all. Yeah, we have this statement in recovery, and it's applicable here. We call it the playing God. Yeah, so, and it's super important in AA, and it's because it's given the title first. First in this whole process, you got to quit playing God. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, when I heard that, I heard it as that which was playing God. So that which was playing God heard, I've got to quit playing God. So it set off to try to quit playing God. But what is that but playing God? Yeah. And I didn't see how it wouldn't go on ad infinitum. Every time I would try to stop playing God, that could be construed as playing God. So there's no out in that in. I've realized I'm not in. I'm not that which is playing God. Yeah. So the head keeps playing God, but I've lost interest in it. Yeah. So it's still playing God, but its bandwidth and its influential uh, uh, range is quite limited, quite small now, and it's been turned into a comedy show, which is awesome. Yeah. So playing God. This is year 37, episode 843. How many viewers? 2. So yeah, so first quit playing God. Oh, I've got to stop playing God. No, that was a fucking big misunderstanding. Then I realized, no, it's not me that's playing God. And that which is playing God isn't going to stop under my bequest. Yes?
Right.
Yeah. So, but there's a loss of interest in that which is playing God. And that hasn't changed ever since. So a lot of times when I greeted the solution, I misunderstood it. But because the solution and the invitation keeps being put out, you come to understand a lot. Yeah. Because the misunderstanding, the message doesn't fit itself around the misunderstanding. It has the misunderstanding sticking out like a sore thumb. And then you see it, and you see it, and then the misunderstanding drops. And now you may hit a point that the understanding doesn't grow anymore because there's not, understandings are not meant to grow in a sense. Yeah. They're meant to do something until the vision takes over, which is the awareness. And there's no growing in awareness. Awareness is whatever. Yeah. So the understanding, the misunderstanding is noticed. And that, so it's like Ramana had a story. So there's a guy walking down the street and his foot's bothering him. Yeah. And he's busy. And then finally it's bothering him so much, he stops and he takes his shoe off and he sees that there's a thorn in his foot. Yeah. So he looks around this where he's standing and he sees another thorn. Yeah. And he used that thorn to dig out the first thorn. He doesn't replace the first thorn with the second thorn. He throws both of them away. That's like understanding non-duality is like. The understanding plays the role of the second thorn to dig out the first thorn. You don't replace the first thorn with the second thorn. Yes? Yes. This is the most efficient solution because there is no problem. Literally. So anytime you want to clothe it or paint, lipstick on a pig or paint legs on a snake, no bueno, doesn't work. That's why, how can you have a newsletter around non-duality? There's nothing new in non-duality. So, all right, thanks, Dave. It's always a pleasure, and everyone else.
Thanks, David. Grasshopper. Diane R. had her hand raised. She put it down since.
That's wisdom.
Not sure. She might want to still say something.
Well, yeah, I just want to thank you because, yeah, this is the only way. The stuff I've been going through the last couple of years, it's mind-boggling. But anyways, yesterday I wasn't doing what it was fighting it, and I got pissed off because I realized when you realize you've been duped, right? I got angry, really mad. And because I realized how many times I've been duped, right? And it's like, well, wait a minute, self can't get out of self, remember? So, but I have to continually, especially this last while, go back to like the Google definition of non-duality, what it is, right? Because I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. And since
What
I've
is-
been, sorry,
What is the Google definition of non-duality?
do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Non-duality, to be part of the universe. Spiritual concept, the absence of separation or distinction between the self and the rest of existence. Everything is interconnected, a part of a unified whole rather than being separate entities. The idea that there is no two and that the apparent divisions we perceive are illusions created by the mind. And then no separation between me and everything else, including people, nature, and universe.
Yeah, then the one that represents separation will now have a conceptual idea that it's not separate. This is the dilemma. You need to have more warnings when you present non-duality. Because again, presenting non-duality, the misunderstandings are going to be brought into contrast. You're going to see something. Yeah. Yes. So the way I look at it is just a question that which is saying it's not in separation anymore, and see if it's you, because I don't believe that's you. I don't believe that which believes it separates you, and I don't believe that which thinks it can get unseparated. I don't believe that either. Yeah. So yeah. But now I didn't, that's weird that it's on Google. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah. But do you see that there was still, what was still left standing was you in it? Yeah.
I saw that, you know, at a meeting last week, got a little nervous. I was supposed to chair, Drop the Rock meeting, but the group was having their 75th anniversary or whatever, and I totally forgot about it. And then I was asked to share, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not in the right frame of mind here. And then I just kind of focus on this, and I was fine, right?
Yes.
I didn't believe that part,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
Well, there's a good temple to build right on that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. When something demonstrates a new possibility, honor it. Yeah, as the action figure, because the head wants to move on. Yeah, like it will remember, really. It'll forget a miracle in 20 minutes, but it'll remember a seeming slight for 50 years or so. So you have to realize the system is not only failed, but it's actively failing now. It's not like, oh, it's realized it's failed and it's shut down. No, doesn't realize it's failed and it's actively failing at in every moment, in a sense. Yes, yes. It doesn't because it sees sides. It doesn't ever get to the winning side. Yeah, yeah. Because you may think you're on the winning side, but you're losing, just like the course switched around. And when you think you finally lost the race, you actually are the winner. Yeah, yeah. But that's great, honey. I'm happy you come here and find some sanctuary.
Yes, it's helping a lot. I really appreciate it.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. This is what happened with me. Uh, mm, mm. I didn't feel like the message of the mechanical claiming as being the fastest process in time was given enough value in the satsangs I went to, some of them. So that was one of the things that motivated wanting to share it. And when I started to entertain this idea, it brought me to the point that if you don't see this, you're looking from it. And that hasn't changed since it started coming through, and it's been more than 30 years. So I'm open to hear something new, but I don't get any new direction. So that's why you can hear a talk from 15 years ago. It sounds like yesterday's. Because what's the point? If you don't see this, you're looking from it. When you feel conscious now, it's the head weds that with the body. Yeah. Yeah. And we start there. It's not like we can stop the conveyor belt. We're unconscious to the point until the product's made, and then we start questioning. But from the product, the non-existent thing isn't seen as that. It's seen as an existent thing. That you, as the body, are conscious. Yeah, and that becomes the starting point in time. Yeah, and a lot of stuff gets questions, but very, very rarely does that get looked at. Yeah, and then even when that gets looked at, that which is being looked at is seen as something other than that which is looking at it. Yeah, and usually it's self looking at self. So the self-inquiry is a beautiful mechanism, because that which is going to ask, that's whatever nebulous thing of you, who am I? Yeah. So the asker of who am I and the asked of who am I are both not you. Yeah. Right. So it's funny because usually they don't appear in the same room at the same time. Yeah. Usually when you're thought about as an object, you're in the subjective sense of self. Yeah. Yeah. And then when you're not thinking about the object, you're in the objective sense of self. Yeah. And you're not recognizing the subjective sense of self. So you very rarely see them in the same room at the same time. And self-inquiry does that. It brings the objectified self and the subjectified self in the same room, and one of them asks the other, who am I? And they both get negated. That's the beauty of it. And then you see the original face, which isn't a face. You don't appear, you realize you were here all along. When something stops, you don't appear. You've always been here. Something stops, that's all. And you're not looking at that, and then you notice what's never come and never left. See, we don't see shit that's all here, always here. We need it not to be here to know when it's here. Yeah. So when something is always so, you don't notice it. I'm sure the fish do not know water, even though they're in it all the fucking time, but they know what happens when they're pulled onto the dock of a boat, the thing of the boat, they're flipping out that they're out of the water. But I imagine they see everything in the water, but they don't get the sense of water. Yeah. And we're the same thing in a way. You people feel the effects of gravity as a body all day, and they're not talking about gravity. They're talking about the hill they walked up or the stairs that they went up. Yeah. But it was gravity that made it harder. Yeah. And so then you want to study gravity and all like this. Bypass that. Just go into an anti-gravity chamber and you'll know gravity by its absence. Exactly. This is this point, the message. Yeah. Yeah. It dreams of what it's like to be out from the in. Yeah. So the out is not unblemished. It's tattooed with the in. This is the non-duality. Neither in nor out. Yes. Yeah. So gravity, just if you could feel the absence of it, then you would know its presence. Yes. Yeah. But in this case, there's a great guy I liked, but he would say, your absolute absence is your absolute presence. So the absolute absence of Paul is the absolute presence of what you are. Yeah. 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 So how can you get to that absoluteness? You don't have to. You lose interest. You lose interest in it. 30% will do. Once you start seeing this absence, it just becomes more and more obvious because you're onto something. Yes? Yeah. Yeah. And then what fills up all that space is presence. Yeah. And therefore, then you have a sense of somewhat contented and satisfied. And most of your behavior was directed from being irritable, restless, discontent. You don't have any nobility in your longings. You're just trying to get out of something, in a sense, or by trying to get into something. When that's chilled out, you may never want to, whatever. You do something for a while, and of course the head identifies with it to get some reflection from it. Yeah. So you become identified as a spiritual seeker, just like you're identified as a surfer or something like that. And your head just does that. It's not like you choose to do it and you've got to stop. The head just does it. You don't jump into the machinery to try to change it. You just notice the machinery and see it's not you. Yes. Yeah. So we know, the whole idea of that which rebels against the system gets absorbed by the system. Part of the system is rebellion to it. Yes. There's no getting out of what you're not in. No matter how noble we paint it, you're not getting out of what you're not in. So, all right. I think that's it. Hey,
Hey,
No,
William,
I don't think
William
that's
Stamps
it.
has been trying to put his hand up. William.
Okay, well, there's a couple
Who's
other
him?
people that did too.
I know, but William has had his real hand up for a while. He just can't raise
All
his
right. So
virtual.
the first
Yeah.
shall be last and the last shall be first. No,
Yeah.
come on, William.
So we got William, who's going to unmute himself now. Then we got Sarah and Charles, and also Annette had her hand up for a minute.
Geez, I wish you put it up at 7. No, 8 o'clock. All right. No, I'm joking. Come on. Come on, William.
Everybody for sharing, and I'm going to be doing a little revealing about myself here today, but unfortunately, to get my questions answered, I have to do that. I'm getting older and my anxiety level is sort of increasing. And I'm having a little conflicts with the banks. With one bank in particular, they did something that cut off a couple accounts and cut off my attempt to cut off my video and my computer and my phone, and they basically screwed up a lot of my information, and they stopped paying for the video, my phone, or well, they will unless I pay, you know. And I'm not sure how I can approach this with non-duality. I mean, the only thing I can think of is I'm not that person that's trying to get out of it. That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
Well, just try to get someone to help you deal with them on their level.
I went twice already, 4 times, Paul, and I can't get it.
No, that's a whole different world, bureaucracy. It's time is different, and yeah, I would think you need someone to advocate for you if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, knows it better than you. And then don't try to use the non-duality. Have faith that you already have it in you. Yeah. And let the faith bring it up. Yes. Because this idea of we're combating a pre-programmed faith in the head and the reality of what we're seeing and feeling and dealing with, like Comcast or whoever it is.
Yeah.
The real faith is the underlying faith in the nature of things. Yeah. That doesn't have to be chanted. That would be a doubt, I feel. So yeah, you've heard enough. Enough is sunk in, bro. You have it there. And it's not like it's there and then it's not there. It's always there. The problem is if it's you, because if you are having, or if you're being moved by faith in the head, it will be seen like an unsuspected inner resource. And then that way you're going to try to apply it, non-duality. No, I feel it different than that. I think non-duality is a terrible, skillful means. I do not think it works well. I don't. I believe it's incredible, but to apply it as you onto something for you, it won't budge usually. So this is a dilemma in Rome, and you got to do like the Romans do. Yeah. Get someone to advocate for you.
I understand.
Yep. I'm sure. And there are nonprofit things that will help people of our age to do just that. They have volunteers that will stand up for you when you're too tired to stand up. And a lot of the system here takes advantage of older people, and it's like a vulture economy. And
What it's coming down to, I've been back and forth 4 times to this bank and it still can't clarify.
yeah, you need someone who knows a little more about it to advocate, because you can't. I think they take advantage of the fear and their ability to make you more insecure, supposedly. I remember I was in the hospital and
I walk out of the bank, they say everything is corrected, but then I get an email telling me, or a mail that if I don't pay my computer fee or X whatever it is, they're gonna take my computer away, stop the computer, and charge me XYZ for taking all material out.
Hey, watch out for that. Don't
That's a
answer
scam.
anything on the
It's a
computer.
scam.
Say
Don't
again?
answer anything on the computer. I think that's a scam. Yeah. Just don't do that. Call the bank first or
No,
anything.
no, I am working with the bank directly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do, because people sometimes are following what you're doing and they're waiting for their little move. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I went to the bank, I spoke to the president, that we wanted to have like one of the bankers himself.
Yeah.
He's assured, but when I left, I neglected to tell him, I still want to keep my internet. There's other ones I want to delete, but I don't want to
I think
interfere.
you can do it if you get another person to help advocate. I don't think you'll have to go there. I think
You
I would
cannot
hope that they would take notes on your.
do these things on the phone. I tried and I go in circles.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, there are free volunteer things that will help older adults
Yeah.
to navigate this kind of stuff. Yes.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. That's Yeah. And then if the anxiety and fear comes up, just use that to ask who is it that's anxious or fearful. Yeah. Just throw that in. It will slow down the train of meaning being given. Yes. Yeah. Everything is idealized by the me. Yeah. So it's the hub of a lot of meaning. So if you can sort of take the rug out of that by asking it, who is it? Then the distribution into the anxiety turning into fear doesn't happen. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, good luck. And I'm sure somebody here would.
Yes, I'm very nearby. I'm very happy to help out.
There you go. Fantastic. Yeah. There you go, William. This is why.
William, I don't know if you can see my number if I put it in the chat.
I don't know I don't know how to respond to that. I mean,
Well, William, give us your phone number now. And I think Annette or whoever will call you.
Yes, I'm
Say
on
your
Long
phone
Island. Yeah.
number now.
okay.
What's your phone number, William?
My number?
Yeah.
Let me see if again. I'll use my cell phone. It's easier. 347-414-4245.
And all the independent women, don't get any ideas. William Stamp's phone number. Don't take
Oh,
yeah.
I understand.
read.
I have my lady friend. I have my sister. I have another lady. I'm going with all these ladies.
Oh, that's good. That's good, bro. It's a good space to be in. Femalia. Femalia. I call them femalestroms. When 3 women or more get together, it's like a femalestrom. It's good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Go in and let us know how it goes. Yeah. We're a full service then bitch slap. Yeah. We take care of our own. Yeah. I remember when I was in the hospital, it was obvious, I was fucked. And my sister really did a great job advocating for me. Incredible. And it just bore it, so much love came about from that. She ended up going badly, but she really saved me a lot because they weren't listening to me in there. And I had opinions about my own life, and they were just doing whatever, and she really stood up for me. So sometimes with these things, you gotta get someone who's like a little savvier than you are or I am concerning the topic. Yeah.
Several people, but
I think Annette's going to take care of it pretty well. I would be, yeah, I would. I'd like to have a net right there if somebody was trying to scare my ass. All right. Okay. And who's the next?
Well,
person?
Mark,
Do you have any trouble with your landlord? Who's the next person?
Sarah
I'll send one of
and
our
Charles.
friends over there. I'll send Moochie Fassett. Moochie from Redondo, Laguna Beach. Take care of him, Moochie. Who's the next person?
Well, first I wanted to say, Carrie, thank you for pointing out that William needed to talk, and William, thank you. And Sarah and Charles are next.
Sarah and Charles. All right, come on in.
Hi, Paul.
Hey,
Hi.
Oh,
hello.
I've been listening to you for a couple years, and one of the thing when seeing that the self doesn't actually exist, as I always thought it did, nothing seems ordinary anymore, and the ordinary almost seems agitating. and listening to you talk about how maybe the ordinary, you know, like your experience of life is just ordinary, and also saying like traveling lighter, there something seems to be missing for me in a sense, because the ordinary doesn't work anymore the way it used to, and I'm not excited by those things anymore. And I'd like to hear you clarify a little of what you mean by the ordinary.
What I mean by the ordinary is the familiarity day in and day out, like living in the same place, having the same yard, having the same phone number. Uh,
What about knowing that like we can't even see things as they actually are, and the process of seeing deeper, trying, yeah, the everything I see, none of it's real, and that seems very clear, and yet everyone I interact with, they keep pointing out the unreal as if it's real. And then if you explain, well, I don't think any of this is real, then people are confused, and then you feel alone. And yeah, I mean, of course there's the ordinary life, like the phone number and the job and
all that. Um, mm, I don't speak about it much, you know, what's going on, except in a formatted way. Yeah. On that point. So when people are talking about the unreal is real, I talk to them as if the unreal is real. It's just as good as the real is unreal, whatever. It doesn't matter. So Hmm?
it's so meaningful to have this time, this sat song time, because it's the only time in my life that we get to honor something else.
Oh yeah. Well, in a way, you'll be the honoring of that in yourself. Yeah, you will be. Wherever you're cast in the extraordinary or the ordinary, you will be the demonstration of it. You're not going to be having demonstrations of it. You will be the demonstration of it. Yeah, you just, in time, things, you know, you think your hand was in the glove, and one night it's super cold, and you realize it wasn't as far up as it could go. And then you get to the sweet spot, and the fleece is all touching your fingers, and you're like, wow. So things like that, yeah. But see, the idea of extraordinary, uh, to me, the ordinary is extraordinary, really. Yeah, I feel but there's no butterfly nets. Yeah, you can't catch anything. You can't catch anything. Everything is moving, and yeah, so that's how I see it. Go into it deeper for me, so then I can see. Because see, I wanted to get out of here most of my life, so I was searching for the extraordinary. Yeah, if I couldn't get out of here, I wanted it to be extraordinary. Now I went to great lengths on a lot of levels, and then that that fire was put out, yeah, over time. So I've been entertaining this for a while, and at one point, my head was confronted with I was never going to get anything, but it still believed it was getting something subtly. It was still waiting for the treat. Yeah. And then there was a day when it was obvious, no, it's never going to get anything. And that's when everything became very ordinary. Yeah, yeah. And because I had a drive to get out of here since I was young. And now I'm completely in Novato, California. Yeah, completely wherever I am. And Yeah. So, like I had this teacher a long time ago. He said, people like the he was saying we're in the boredom that's exciting instead of the exciting, the constantly searching for the excitement, which is boring. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean by ordinary, I think. Yeah. I know what you've been, I've gone through all this. I was reading something, some people sent me something about Nisargadatta Maharaj. And these people came all around the world to see Nisargadatta Maharaj. And then Maharaj was talking about it, but my neighbors right down the hall never come over. So nobody in AA I see almost ever. That's in my old community of AA. It's amazing. Yeah, never see them. They don't come here. A few people, but so I learned if I would talk about this in AA, as long as I clothed it in AA, it would be great. But if I would say something and they loved it and they would ask me, where can I see more of this? And I say Zen Bishop, I never see them again. The same thing framed in another way was no bueno. Yeah. So I just learned over time. Yeah. I don't have much to say, and I have the seat assignment to do it in this. And we don't put out, we're not drafting anyone here. Yeah. We're not enticing them with Tupperware prizes and shit. Yeah. We just have a platform. You want to show up, you show up. Yeah. And yeah. So is that a little bit what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you're seeing the ordinary as extraordinary is the treat.
Well, the treats are all bonuses. Just the sense of conviction is enough, really. But there's a lot of treats that come along with it. Yeah. 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 I've, as best I can as an action figure, I've stopped. Yes.
Yes.
As best I can as an action figure, I have stopped. I have stopped. Like the main moving things that propelled me have been come to conclusions. Yeah. Now there's the action figures habits of doing stuff, but the things that really moved me before are not moving me at all. Yeah. So there's a stopping that I really, really appreciate. Yes.
Yes.
I don't mean stopping running, and I mean where a lot of us are being moved constantly by the agitation of the head and everything. Yeah. And as it says in the Bible, the Son of Man has no place to rest its head. Yeah. So I believe non-duality has been a place to rest the head. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then, this is an artistic event. You give meaning to things. So I make things that aren't important at all important. Yeah. Yeah. And no one takes them to be important. And so there's no, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just the way it goes. Yeah.
In your last talk, you said you were picking up the kids. I was wondering if you have children.
No, Amelia has children, so I had to pick them up. No, I don't believe I have a child. And I never got married. But that wasn't out of choice. That was built in. Yeah. I never had an interest in marriage or anything. And especially when I was out there getting loaded. I never even got close to that line of having a kid or getting married because that would have been, I had a feeling it would be a compounded disaster. It was enough I was going to hell. I didn't want to bring anyone else, so to speak. So, no, I never was married or anything. This is, yeah. I think I'm a wanderer. Yeah,
Thank you.
I remember I went to see these Zen, there was a Zen teacher that I'd see when I was young. And he said, she told me, you're not going to be in any temple. Yeah, you're gonna you're gonna be one of those wanderers and stuff. So no temple for you.
Thank you for wandering onto Zoom.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. I understand, like when you want to sing it, to the rafters, yes,
Yes.
but uh, that gets more refined and more discriminated as it goes on. Yes, yeah, but of course, who knows what it would be like if I didn't have this outlet? Yeah, maybe I would be in an asylum. I don't know, really, but I'm lucky. I've been given this outlet, and I'm even doubly lucky because I can speak on recovery and then speak in this topic. And so in recovery, that urge to want to be helpful is appropriate, and then being a fucking uncompassionate, sadistic character can be working in the non-duality. So it was yeah, it's nice to have a foot in each camp. Yeah, yeah, it's just great. I'm so happy I can share and just share. It wasn't meant for me, obviously. This was not meant for me. It wasn't supposed to stop where I am. It was obvious. I had no idea where it came from, and I really didn't know where it was going. It just passed through, literally. It was so obvious. It was so obvious when it started, like 34 years ago. I remember it because it was in recovery, where I was presented in front of a crowd, and I never have thought or prepared anything. And you could just feel something, like a very directed wind blow through. And it was so obvious that I had nothing to do with it. It's been quite helpful over the years. Yeah, it was so obvious from the get-go that I had nothing to do with it. So if someone was trying to mix me up with the message, I was very clear. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So it's yeah. So man. I'm happy to meet you, Charlie and Sarah. Yes.
You as well.
Yes. And come back if you like anytime. And
We-
if you ever want, Charlie, I have a phone number. You can call me up if you want.
I do
Yeah.
want.
Well, yeah, it's on the website, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, give me a call if you like. And if I'm available, I'll talk with you. If not, call me back. Anyone else?
Thank you, Sarah and Charles. Checking in with Annette. Is she still here? There she is. No, nothing.
I'm okay. I'm good. Thanks. Yeah.
All right, and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. It was beautiful. Thank you.
All right. So Kathleen, as always, thank you for the service, honey. And folks, we're going to be back east April 17th. I think it's 18, 19, 20th. Whatever. It's on the website, the first part of it. It's on the website. It's going to be in Dover, New Jersey. And then the next week we're down in Philadelphia area. I have to put that up. And then we're going to have some other talks. I think one or two more. So they'll be up on the website. And yeah, if you're back east, maybe we'll run into each other. Okay. And we'll be doing Zooms when we're over there and stuff. Yeah. But it's like forever in April, the end of April. All right. So Chris H, always a pleasure, Chris. All's well? You doing well? I want to hear from Chris for a second. I can hear you, Chris. Thank you. I just wanted to hear, I wanted to hear Santa Claus talk to me. That's okay. Maybe it's better I don't hear Santa Claus's voice. Kerry, nice to see you, Kerry. Thanks for looking out for Mr. Stamps. Yeah.
Here's
Lori.
Chris is in. Come on, Chris.
Hey, so yeah, I was, so when I got struck sober, I knew pretty much immediately, left to my own devices, I was gonna drink again.
Yeah.
And so I needed to go to AA to hang out with people who weren't drinking.
Yes.
And, I had the same thing with the non-duality, that I have to spend time with people who want to make the
Yeah.
popping sound, so to speak. And I'm so grateful that you were able to get this going, and that so many people showed up, and thank you, and thanks to the rest of the Sangha, because
Yes.
without, I know I'm fucked. you know I can see the gun in my face.
Wait a minute.
know?
A lot of programming just fell apart. Santa Claus said I'm fucked. Wow. I knew I was one of the bad boys. Oh,
Yeah.
well, good to see you, meet you, Chris. And yeah, you're a lifetime member of Zen Bitch Slap, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking me to talk.
Oh, you're welcome, Chris. Yeah, I wanted to meet you. That's this way.
Okay. Go ahead and mute me.
Mute away.
Yeah.
Oh, Lori in number 310. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm in LA too. I'm a friend of Kurt's, Kurt
Oh, great.
Zimmerman.
Yeah, Kurt Zimmerman. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done your videos and talked about you all the time. And I have Wednesdays free now, so I thought I'd come over and check it out. So it's been very interesting. Wednesdays are very physically challenging for me, so my brain is mush right now, but I think I caught a little of it. So
Oh,
thank
great.
you.
And you're a whole lot of it, actually, yourself. So that's good. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anew, as always.
Thank you.
William Stamps. Yep. Help is on the way. David, down under, as always. See you. James Olson, the man who knows he's never going to get it. Fantastic. Chris Snap, Kentucky. Annette, Diane R. Mika in Finland. Stephen Mack on Having Never Left. I want to get this right. It looks like Angelique and Graham. Nice, Graham. You're still in Tiruvannamalai. Oh, it's the same lady. Ah, very nice.
Yeah, we're still here.
Fantastic. Yeah, enjoying yourself?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we got another week to go, and then back to Spain.
Oh, not bad. Oh, back to Spain. And off to somewhere else. Oh, that's great. Thanks for dropping in. It's very nice to see Angelique again.
Yeah, nice to see you, Paul.
Yeah.
She's always here in the background.
Eh?
She's always here in the
Oh,
background.
yeah. I hope you've run into that guy, Walker.
We haven't found him yet.
Not yet.
But
maybe today.
There's still time.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you for dropping in, and let's hopefully we'll stay in touch. Yes.
Definitely. See you later.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right, we got Kenneth in good old Vancouver. Nice to see you, Kenneth. Yep. Judy Love, always a pleasure, Judy. Yes.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, Ernie. There you are, Ernie. Yes. You can't go wrong, brother. Don't worry. Eric, Vista, always a pleasure. I don't know, I can't get to the other page, but hey, welcome. I mean, thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful night, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Yes, yeah, tomorrow will be recovery, 10:30 Pacific time, right? Thursday? Yeah,
Yes,
all right.
that's correct,
Yes. All right, thank you, Kathleen and everyone. See you. Bye-bye.
everyone.
Love you, Paul.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kathleen.
Paul.
Thanks,
Bye,
Paul.
Kathleen.
Kathleen,
Thanks,
thanks,
thanks
Paul.
everyone.